The woman had barely started asking about the bus schedule when the station attendant, Mike, cut her off, snapping that she'd been asking the same thing every few minutes. Sarah was baffled. She had literally just arrived. Then she spotted a suitcase by the counter. It was identical to hers, right down to the broken handle. Mike saw her staring and grumbled that it was her suitcase. Sarah tried to explain, but when she glanced back at her seat, her own suitcase was gone. She was floored. Sarah decided to hit the restroom to clear her head. The moment she walked in, Linda, the cleaning lady, gave her a weird look. "You okay, hun? You've been in here washing your face every few minutes. Gonna wash your skin off." Sarah shot back, flustered, that this was her first time in there. Frustrated, Sarah yanked open the restroom door and froze, her blood running cold. Sitting right outside was herself, staring back with an unnerving calm. She slammed the door shut, gasping for air. Mustering her courage, she peeked out again. The other her was gone, but creepily, her suitcase was back by her seat. As Sarah was trying to make sense of it all, a guy named Paul picked up the bag she'd dropped. Turns out, he was heading to the same place. Noticing how spooked she looked, Paul asked if she was all right. After some hesitation, Sarah spilled everything about the bizarre things that had been happening at the station. Paul listened, clearly skeptical, suggesting maybe it was a look-alike or some elaborate prank. But Sarah insisted she wasn't crazy. Just then, their bus pulled up. As Sarah went aboard, she let out a terrified gasp. Another her was already sitting on the bus. She screamed and scrambled back into the waiting room, then fainted dead away from the shock. Paul had no choice but to follow her back, missing the bus. Before Linda left for the day, she pulled Paul aside, warning him that Sarah wasn't quite right in the head, and to take care of her. When Sarah came to, she was dazed, muttering that she finally understood. She figured she was caught in some kind of parallel dimension, and the other, her, was an entity from that place trying to take over her life. Listening to Sarah's increasingly wild theories, Paul decided she genuinely needed help. He made an excuse about calling a friend for a ride, but secretly dialed 911. While Paul was on the phone, Sarah, as if drawn by an unseen force, headed back to the restroom, desperate to find her double again. But there was nothing. The cops arrived quickly. Realizing Paul had tricked her, Sarah instinctively tried to bolt, but they overpowered her and bundled her into the squad car. Paul was left alone in the waiting room, completely drained. He set his suitcase down, ready to finally get some rest. As he took a sip of water, he suddenly realized his suitcase was gone too. He looked up just in time to see a figure, a dead ringer for himself, darting out of the station. Without a second thought, Paul sprinted after him. But this other Paul was impossibly fast, even glancing back with a chilling smirk before vanishing into the night. Paul stood there, stunned, finally understanding the bizarre terror Sarah had experienced firsthand.